Let's podcast alongside Joe Giglio. I'm Joe Ovies inside Eford Studios in downtown Raleigh. Thanks to Empire Properties. Thanks to Copiers Plus. Check them out online at copiers-plus.com. And of course, thanks to James Giglio for stepping up yesterday.
Yeah, you said you didn't want to work yesterday. So here we are.
I had made plans, man. I made plans. Plus, Kelly told me I needed a break.
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports phone and curse or don't.
From a 910 text, morning boys, sitting here watching the Giglio Square after dark for breakfast and just want to shout out James for joining in. As a loyal fan of the OG for several years now, brings a smile to see the Utes stepping in for their dads. Makes this dad here hopeful for OG forever. OG for life.
For life. Today's theme.
Have a great day. Go Duke. Yeah, given that my older son, Caleb, has taken to audio production.
Oh,
This is a conversation you and I need to have with our respective children. And just go, guys, no, look at your fathers. Look at where we've ended up in our lives. Do something else.
Look around. Read the room.
I'm going to take Caleb to go see Deftones tonight, but I'm also going to go take him to see Nine Inch Nails later in the year. And it's almost like, it's like Hurt. Here's this empire of shit. Enjoy.
Yours. It can be all
It
yours.
could all be yours. But no, shout out to James for stepping in yesterday. Yeah, man, I had leftover birthday dinner plans, and I saw the Duke game time. I'm like, are you serious? Because we were trying to get to 42nd Street Oyster Bar, remember? Neighbor Rick, when we saw Neighbor Rick at Longleaf on Friday, or was it Thursday? No, it's Friday.
How did it go? Did you get in?
Dude, we didn't even bother.
For real.
So we ended up getting out.
When is the alleged closing date?
I think it's the end of the month. So I think we got 2 more weekends for this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's closing.
You want to bet on that shit?
It ain't like that, man.
You want to bet on that shit?
What? That 42nd Street Oyster Bar is actually going to close for real?
There's going to be a magical, we've been given a reprieve for 1 month only.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it has everything to do with the space itself, because they're going to put another high rise there.
Put an eggplant on the fucking screen right now. Give me a break.
Hey, we are coming out of the gate hot today.
Give me a break. Whatever.
The explicit rating on this podcast is well worth it today.
Color me skeptical.
Nah, so when we drove past 42nd Street, the line was going out the door and around the building to the train tracks.
Does give me an idea. Like, OG Media is going to dissolve by the end of the month. If you could give $1, if every person could give $1.
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I said, hey,
get people picketing, don't go Joe's. Don't go Joe's.
I put the last call out there for drunk OG shirts, and people got mad at me.
Yeah, with your business sense sometimes.
We'll reopen the store. It's fine. It's not complicated. It's not complicated. Anyway, big thanks to James.
So you did not get in?
No, didn't get in.
Okay.
We didn't even bother.
Okay.
So ended up going over to Boxcar to watch the rest of the Duke Baylor game, which, I don't know how much more there was to watch in that game, and ended up at Whiskey Kitchen. It's a nice night, man.
I like Whiskey Kitchen.
Yeah. Had good food out there. Regardless, 42nd Street was just not meant to be. But you know what is meant to be, Joe?
For life.
Another Caleb Love versus Duke showdown for life. So many Tar Heel fans
we need Kevin Nash. We need the audio for life. For life.
I've seen, and we've gotten a couple sports phone calls that we'll get into when we get into Hey Joe. But it has been interesting to see Carolina fans go from disengaged of the NCAA tournament to Caleb. Hey man, this is it. Because we don't need this Duke squad winning it all. It's up to you to do it one more time. Please ruin Duke's postseason one more time for us. One more time. But it's not that simple, Joe. How have things gone for Caleb Love since the shot?
Well, it's interesting. If you think back to Caleb Love's freshman season at North Carolina, which I know is like a minute ago,
yeah.
Right? This is 2021. And he kind of like was pitter-pattering along. You know, he was supposed to be their bus driver, and it wasn't quite working out that way. And then he had a classic, wait a second, we're playing Duke?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a second, that's the reason I came to Carolina in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
25 points in his first game against Duke. 18 in his second. The Tar Heels win both. Then, of course, the next year, they lose in Chapel Hill. They win the two incredibly memorable and historic games. In his first 5 games against Duke, went 4-1, 20 points per game. He made 36% of his threes, including one of the most famous shots in not only the history of North Carolina, but the history of the NCAA tournament. All pretty impressive, right? 4 or 5, 20 points per game, 36% of his threes. You're sitting here thinking, God, he's a Duke killer, Giglio. He's going to, and remember, he went to Cameron and put for life on his shoes, and he absolutely owns Duke. About that. Since the shot, he's now 1-3 against the Blue Devils. He is averaging just 10 points a game against the Blue Devils and is making only 14% of his threes, including a 1 of 9 performance this year and he only scored 8 points on his home court out at Arizona in a loss. So there's before the shot and then there's after the shot.
Doesn't matter. It's when it's happening. It's the tournament. Caleb Love, he was asked by CBS, is he ready?
You know them very well from your time in North Carolina. Duke, how do you beat them?
That right there. That was it.
Don't even play the rest of the clip.
That was it.
You got to watch on YouTube. If you're listening on the podcast, cool. We appreciate that. But this is a visual because Caleb Love has a grin on his face.
Eyes are spinning. There's a grin.
Yeah,
he sees Mark Williams' outstretched hand, and he's nodding in his brain.
We got to go back. We got to watch film. We got to get ready for them, and we're gonna enjoy this win. But we'll be ready for them when it's time. When it's time, we'll be ready for them when it's time. I like that. Yep.
When it's time, Caleb, it is time. If you ask Carolina fans, it is time for you to step up. It's weird. My overall, I was listening to Unsportsmanlike this morning, making coffee, just kind of getting a general sense of, all right, what's the national take on all the NCAA stuff, which is a mistake because
Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers.
They have to get through Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers first before they talk about the NCAA. You know, the thing that everybody in America was watching.
Clearly. I thought you meant Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. Clearly, that's where the drama is.
No. I mean, who am I to program direct ESPN radio, right? But, you have this incredible NCAA tournament thing that everybody watches, and they all have opinions on their brackets. And has it been a crazy NCAA tournament? No.
We've kind of sort of, super chalky. Chalky doesn't mean boring. I think there have been some good games, but the outcomes themselves have been fairly and largely predictable.
So once they got done talking about Aaron Rodgers, because, it's very important coming out of an NCAA tournament weekend, what's his future? Yeah, look, it has not been a shocking. There's been one buzzer beater. I know there's a debate as to whether or not Queen had traveled or not. I get it. So you got little things here and there. But yes, there are no Cinderellas. And that was the overall national talking point. Like, do you still enjoy the tournament even though there are no Cinderellas in the Sweet 16? For the first time since 2007, there are no 11 or worse seeds in the Sweet 16. 11 of the Sweet 16 participants are from 2 conferences. 7 of them come from the SEC, which broke the ACC record. I think that was set in 2016 for 6. The SEC's got 7. And then if you blow it up, because, hey, there are other conferences, obviously. Of the 16 teams, it's made up of 4 conferences. The SEC, the Big 10, the Big 12, and then the ACC. No Big East teams.
I can't wait for Duke to win this title and the ACC to have the best record of any conference. Because it would be 7-3.
It would be 7.
Like, I can't wait.
All done by 2,
I cannot wait for them to show that chart. The ACC is the worst conference. And then you have to show the winning percentage by conference.
Whoops. So I understand that is the usual way in which we measure the NCAA tournament. Do we like it? Do we not? Has it been exciting? Has it been not? But I feel like this year alone has been the one that has crystallized what makes the NCAA tournament kind of intriguing. I mean, we just highlighted the biggest one. Here is Caleb Love and his Tar Heel for life getting another opportunity with Duke and all the history that's tied there. In the old ways, it was the coaches. And we got a little throwback with that. We got our Rick Pitino, John Calipari in the Arkansas St. John game, and a little bit of Rick Pitino being upset in a press conference after the fact. I get that those are the types of matchups that traditionally get the people going, the coach versus the old team, or coaching in rivalries and all that kind of stuff. But watching that Duke Baylor game, it was like, oh, it's like ACC All-Stars again. Here's Jeremy Roach and the storylines with John Scheyer, which we'll get here in a second. But I forgot about Norchad Ormir. How much was he getting to go to Miami?
He got a big chunk.
He got a big chunk to go to Miami.
Then Baylor swooped in and
we
were
talking about this with Carolina when they saw Ole Miss. You're seeing a couple of ACC guys, most notably Sean Padula. So so to me, the new way of looking at the storylines that makes it interesting is if you're that into players and their where they're going, the game of whatever musical chairs. Thank you. I was drawing a blank there. The musical chairs that you get with NCAA basketball these days. There are storylines to be had, and there's a lot of ACC All-Stars out there that are advancing on.
I was going to say, of the Sweet 16 teams, 5 have ACC transfers, including Duke.
Yeah,
with Malik Brown from Syracuse. Note this though, Joe, of the 4 that are outside the league right now, all 4 of them average in double figures. Miles Kelly from Georgia Tech at Auburn, Sean Padula at Ole Miss, Caleb Love at Arizona, and Andrew Carr, slightly forgotten, down at Kentucky.
Yeah.
So if you're the ACC and you're looking at this and you're going, gosh, this was a miserable college basketball season, what do we have to do? Well, I've tried to liken college sports to Major League Baseball now, because Major League Baseball is the only professional sport that doesn't have a salary cap, right? So if you're in an arms race, you have to invest. I never faulted the Marlins or the Rays even the Oakland A's for not going out and spending in free agency. I always fault them and will forever fault them for not keeping their own talent. Well, here's where the ACC is. They're now the Oakland A's.
Yeah.
You're watching Johnny Damon, Miles Kelly go be a useful part for Auburn. You're watching Sean Padula, Giambi go out and be the star, for the leading scorer for Ole Miss.
I don't think it's that. I'm not ready to go all in that direction, because I think
why not?
Well, because look at Duke. Okay, let's look at Duke. Let's look at Duke.
Okay.
Let's look at Carolina.
Yep.
With Elliot Cadeau, like you said yesterday on the podcast. John Scheyer understands what the assignment is, and you have to have some hard conversations about whether or not you actually are good enough to be on this team with the goals that we have.
Which Carolina did with Caleb Love, to be fair.
Right. So that was a hard conversation. It paid off with what? They ended up going to being a number 1 seed the following year, right?
They won the ACC regular season.
And they won the ACC regular season. Here's John Scheyer after the game talking about Jeremy Roach and even his overall level of play with Baylor, by the way. He didn't go to Baylor to go be the guy either. Okay.
Right.
So here's Scheyer. Well, hold on a second. Let me get some actual audio here.
Just the other day, but we'll look back on his 4 years at Duke as such a key moment. I think selfishly for me, I feel that way because of the transition. And he was the only returning player to come back when I took over. And that meant a lot. And I've been through a lot with him. It was strange seeing him in green. I had to do a double take today, even though I knew he wasn't on our team. But told him I love him.
So there you go. That's John Scheyer after the game. And then those hard conversations also extend themselves to the players they actually have on the roster and come back. John Scheyer got emotional talking about Tyrese Proctor, who has been the story for Duke in the first 2 games.
He was amazing yesterday.
He's been amazing in both games, but yes, they absolutely needed him yesterday and his production.
Tyrese, I took over in April, and Tyrese and I had a call May 31st to come a year early. And sorry. I think we knew there'd be some rough patches, reclassifying, but there were his first year. But he had some big time moments. Like, he came on strong down the stretch, and he could have made a decision to even go pro after his freshman year, a year early. And I think he and his family, his mom and dad, they had such maturity to understand it's more important to be ready than just be drafted. And so he doubles down, comes back, huge expectations. And me and Tyrese both would say his sophomore year didn't go the way we wanted. I think that's where it's easy to split. And I was not in a convincing mode. I think after that season, I was just matter of fact where I saw it for him and the opportunity, and just we had honest conversations like we always do. But I think the difference is for a guy in that position to take it as opposed to making excuses or running away from it. I think that's the special part. And so for this to happen for Tyrese, to be, hitting 7 threes and to be our key guy and all that after going through all these moments, like if I'm an NBA team, I'm going after him because you have to handle adversity. And I think that speaks a lot to his character. And then obviously our relationship, and I think in this era, you guys cover this, you understand the challenges and NIL and transfer portal and all that. It's still to have the relationships you can build with a guy for 3 years and go through a lot. And I'm obviously really proud of him.
That was Jon Scheyer after the win against Baylor and Proctor's play and those hard conversations. And I think, to your point, the ACC finds itself in a really, really weird spot with the NIL, with the House settlement coming up. How do you make sure that you've got talent staying in the conference?
Miles Kelly and Sean Padula in particular left 2 programs that did not believe in NIL, straight up. Georgia Tech and Virginia Tech.
That's a problem.
And Carr was a guy who Steve Forbes offered a significant amount of money to, but Kentucky offered him $1.2 million. And he told him, you got to take that.
Yeah.
I can't match that. And you need to take that. That's life-changing money for you.
On the flip side, though, and I think this is the part that I think is more interesting, you're going to lose players for a variety of reasons. It could be money. It could be playing time. It could be, in the case of Duke, I got new guys coming in. And I think that ultimately is why my respect level for Scheyer continues to go up in the position that he was put in to follow Mike Krzyzewski. With the current state of college basketball, it is really hard to maintain continuity. Cool, got it. So how do you look at your roster and say, what's going to put us in the best position to win while maintaining some level of continuity for a guy like Tyrese Proctor to stick around for when, hey, you're not the number 1, you're not the number 2, but you're still going to have a key role. I mean, Duke is deep, dude. And the one thing that I've really appreciated out of Jon Scheyer's first 3 years, regardless of the talent level, not that they don't have talent, but they all understand their roles and they've got depth. Scheyer has zero issues putting out some funky lineups when needed because everybody understands what they need to do. And that, to me, is the best sign of coaching. Say what you want about how far they go. Say what you want about how last year ended. Say what you want the rest of the way. In the first 3 years, the one thing I can say definitively for Jon Scheyer and Duke, everybody understands that assignment. That's a testament to coaching. That's a testament to the staff. And that's really hard to pull off coming after who you're replacing, for heaven's sake. And it's not, as we've discussed with Carolina, it's not so easy to keep that going. This is Will Wade's job now at NC State. How do you keep that? How do you compete? How do you keep going? Right now, Duke seems to have it.
Yeah, John's done a masterful job this year. Now, last year, that was their biggest problem. They didn't know their roles. They couldn't figure out who the bus driver was.
Yeah. Well, I think they thought they knew who was the bus driver, but whether or not they actually know how to drive it is another matter entirely. In the case of Cal Filipowski,
but you learn.
Yeah.
How else do you learn? But by making mistakes and going through it.
Yep.
And he's shown. And I also thought their roster construction last year was flawed. And that's where the Sion James, that's where the Mason Gillis, those type Malik Brown, those type of players are just as important, to your point about that depth, as the 5 stars that you're bringing in, the lottery picks that you're bringing in. Real quick to wrap on Duke, good for John. I felt like at the end of Mike's career, he didn't have it was harder for him to have a connection with his players because there was such a revolving door.
Sure.
So for John in his first years to have that relationship with Jeremy, to have that relationship with Tyrese. I actually believe these coaches when they say this. That's the reason they get into this.
Yeah.
I remember Roy Williams when he retired, and we were talking privately about Duke because he was not trying to like throw darts at Mike, but it was more like he said to me, I don't know how he does it.
Mhm.
Like, I enjoy Theo Pinson, my 4 years with Theo Pinson. I enjoy, getting to know these players and seeing them develop, and it kind of gives me purpose in life. He's like, I just can't imagine having to replace my roster every year, right? He's like, there's going to be some guys you like, and then you lose, and there's going to be some guys you don't like. But even then, you're like, I would have liked to have seen them take that next step, because that's part of coaching. So good for John. Like that he's getting emotional there too. Enjoy the journey.
Every time we talk about the ACC, it is brought to you by Keller Williams Commercial. The Donnelly team, Brian and Julie, are going to help you out. TriangleNCCommercial.com, 919-616-8681. Do you have a warehouse of shoes that has For Life on it? Well, they've got a space for you to keep all your shoes. Looking at you, Caleb Love. So hit them up, 919-616-8681, or visit TriangleNCCommercial.com.
To add to the chart, he's 1-0 when he puts For Life on his shoes, 0-1 when he doesn't. So at Newark, those things better say For Life.
It better say For Life, man. It better say For Life.
And I will make sure our friend Ethan Hyman on the Business Observer gets a picture.
Well, one last thing about Duke before we get into housekeeping. This is a phenomenon that I noticed in Charlotte, and it was crystallized further in Raleigh for the NCAA tournament regarding Duke. I don't think it's just, you were there. We've been to enough events in Charlotte. It's not usually a Duke-friendly town, right? People are usually there for Carolina. And when the Carolina Duke played, I felt it was more Duke than Carolina.
Yes.
There's several reasons for this. I get that Carolina fans at that point were somewhat not checked out, but tepid around this season for Carolina. But that usually doesn't stop Carolina fans from showing out to hate on Duke. And then the same thing applies for Raleigh, the NCAA tournament. I had seen one guy who doesn't cover basketball. He's an NFL guy for The Athletic. And he said, like, man, people bang on Florida teams in the SEC for never leaving the state, but here's Duke getting an opportunity to constantly open up their tournaments in North Carolina. Talk about home cooking. And it's like, dude, it's not that simple. I mean, we did go through a phase where Mike Krzyzewski did not want to play NCAA tournament games in the state of North Carolina because he didn't want to have the
Lehigh in Greensboro, Mercer in Raleigh.
Right. And fans absolutely going bonkers because they were anti-Duke. But a funny thing has happened in the last 3 years without Mike Krzyzewski there to be easily hateable. And this is why I've always maintained, and I'm kind of being proven right. It wasn't that you hated Duke. You hated K. You can separate the two. There's nothing to hate about Duke right now, other than you just being a lifer around here and you just trained not to like Duke. But there's also transplants that have come to this state who have no actual ties to how things used to be. And they're probably Duke fans because, hey, man, they're on TV a lot and they win a lot. Okay, and I'm not using this as a knock. I'm not calling them bandwagoners or whatever. That's just the way this works. All right? And I am convinced that with the changeover in demographics here in the state and no Mike Krzyzewski, we're going to have to get used to a new world where Duke is actually a home team in an interesting sort of way. They were a home team in Charlotte, which we're not used to, and they were certainly a home team in Raleigh, man, to the point where even Grant Hill on the broadcast, noticing how pro-Duke it was, and I think it was Rafferty talking about some home cooking, Grant Hill was like, yeah, this is kind of odd. Even Grant Hill recognized it.
Grant Hill played with Christian Laettner, the most hated player perhaps in the history of the sport.
But there's decades of this that have built up to make you not like Duke.
But you may have been too young to remember 91 and 92.
No, I was not too young. I understood how it was. But my point still stands. All those hated Duke teams out the window, past history, don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
And now they're going to Lenovo Center and they're a home team. That's bizarre. I think we can all recognize it's a little weird, right?
I mean, they were there by themselves, though. It wasn't like Carolina was there to counterbalance it.
I mean,
or Virginia. I think they've been there with Virginia before as well.
What, UConn doesn't want to go after?
It's not that. I mean, there are UConn fans in this area.
Plenty of Florida fans.
There were a lot of Florida.
Fans.
It was a weird setup. Noticed in the first half of that UConn Florida game. They must have sold the tickets together.
Yeah.
Because those all those seats behind the benches area were for Duke fans, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And wasn't until like really the second half of that game that the building started to fill up. And then, of course, as you saw in the second half of the Duke game, all those Florida people were gone.
Yeah.
So those were 2 good games, though.
They were.
I was happy for Scott Dupree. Raleigh can, board of whatever they are, Commerce,
The greater Raleigh Sports Alliance.
He's got a weird, funky title. I just
Yeah.
know he's the person primarily responsible for getting these events to Raleigh and in our area, and they do such a great job. I was happy for them that they had these brand name teams, and the UConn Florida game in particular was one of those kind of. I know the result wasn't the chaos that some people wanted, but the game itself was outstanding.
Oh, it was a good game. Absolutely good game.
Housekeeping.
Brought to you by Enovana. You can check them out online at enovana.com. Green Cleaning Solutions.
If you have mess inside your mansion or trash in your cabana, get it clean with Enovana.
All right, we're going to reopen the Year of the Hangover shirt store since, well, no, because like most people were like, all right, got to coach, the Year of the Hangover is over. Let's get these shirts out. Let's have a good time. Right? But apparently I've been told, no, dumbass. People still wanted to buy shirts. And it's like, well, how often do I have to tell you to buy the shirts? The store's closing. I tweeted out a bunch.
Also, maybe like give it like a better deadline than like noon.
Well, I needed to get the blanks in today so we can start shipping them out. I'm just saying.
You're a knucklehead.
Oh, well. I mean, the whole point of these things is to have it limited time.
Yes.
The whole point.
Yes, Walt. Yes, I get it.
Just wait till the next OG hat vault, man. I already got the design.
Yes, Walt.
I got the next shirt design too for the for these things. Anyway,
all right. So you're all we're having a meeting, right?
Oh, is it meeting time?
We're having a meeting. You're off next week?
Yeah, next week. I ain't here.
31 through 3.
Yeah, gone Monday, back Saturday. But we'll have.
Speaking of malt.
So I will not be. Yeah, I'll be at Disneyland. Which means I will not miss any more After Darks. So we'll After Dark on Thursday when Caleb Love drops a bunch of threes on Duke, right? And then, no, I'm kidding. Duke's going to win that game. So potentially, if Duke gets all the way to the Final Four, well, I'll be back Saturday for the Final Four.
You'll make 5 of the 6 total After Darks. That's impressive, Joe. Your consistency is admirable.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good work.
Sorry, I had plans on
You
Sunday.
want a Disney cookie now?
I might.
Okay.
I mean, did I not work yesterday?
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I gave you a graphic.
Graphics are great.
Put the podcast out.
Perfect.
Put a reel out.
Well, actually, I didn't know we did the After Darks as a podcast. I would have.
For these I am, because I'm trying to maximize that Blue Wire money. So
That
I mean,
makes
hey,
sense.
might as well, right? Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
and then I put a reel out with your kid.
Perfect. I got to look.
So
I think you got me blocked on.
I don't have you blocked. I also worked. Thank you very much. I just didn't do the After Dark. Plus, you were fine. You had Bull City. You had Nada.
That was good. Nada
Good.
might need to do one of those
Show was
days
pro-
with me.
Show was probably better without me.
Nada needs to do one of those days with me, I think.
So
But
it's all
his
good.
schedule has been.
I know his schedule's nuts.
My
man.
gosh.
His schedule's
That-
crazy. So I'm
He
giving
was
you
great, though.
I'm giving you an advanced warning. I'll
Perfect.
be gone for the week. Spring break.
I'm on it.
Okay, good.
I'm on it.
Okay, good. Big thanks to Miller Lending. Check them out online at millerlending.com/
Do you remember your wine?
Yeah, the wine's at home.
Okay.
I have not cracked it open yet, but maybe you need to crack open some savings when it comes to your interest rates. Let's look at this from the perspective of your own personal finances. You might be in debt up to your eyeballs, like a lot of us, thanks to credit cards. Hi. Hey. And I can tell you this, that the interest rates on refinancing your home are a hell of a lot lower than the interest rates on your credit card. So consolidate debt.
Math.
That's math. Math is math in here.
Math.
And when you don't pay closing costs, if your situation changes, the rates come down even further, you can refinance again and not be sweating whether or not you're going to break even on all the money you just spent to buy a rate slightly lower with a traditional closing cost loan. With no closing cost, you can kind of keep it going as you want. Rates come down in 6 months, just refinance again. Real simple.
I think I've had one loan past 8 years.
On average, they last about 4.
Okay.
And then it takes you about 8 years to break even on that.
Yeah.
So contact Miller Lending today, 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com/ the OG. When you tell them we sent you and you're on your way to close, guess what? You get a gift basket from the Raleigh Wine Shop. NMLS 250-2146. I
Still
feel
housekeeping, or
we can keep housekeeping.
okay. The OG birthday, man. We turned 2.
Yes.
It's Thursday.
We're going to do it on a Thursday, or do we want to wait
5-1?
till the 9th on a Friday? What do you want to do? School
I
night
like
or a
5-1.
Friday?
I like 5-1.
So you want to do 5-1 on a Thursday?
5-1.
Okay. We'll
Feels like a good number.
all right. Well, let me then work on
Because
the
I'm 50.
yeah.
5-1.
What does that have to do with anything?
I don't know. Just feels good.
So you'd rather do it on a Thursday
Yeah.
and be hammered, and then do a mailbag on Friday?
I don't have to be hammered. We
Yeah.
can do the mailbag from Shady's as well.
I don't want to work that night. I want to drink.
Might make for a better mailbag.
Maybe. I was thinking, speaking of meetings, more meetings. I feel like in this break we could do like a OG corporate champion EGOT. Like let's follow this through, right? So you
Okay.
got your you getting your home loan from Miller Lending.
Yes.
Cool. Well, you need to buy a house, right?
Yep.
Well, this is where you get my Hometown Realty.
Correct.
myhtr.com. So you buy a house from Hometown Realty with Hometown Realty,
Right.
and then you use Miller Lending to finance that house.
Correct.
Right?
So myhtr.com to find that house.
Okay, so you find that house with them, and then you got to take it to close,
Got
right?
to close.
Well, Whitaker and Hamer, WH.lawyer.
Got to close.
They can do that for you. And then after you're done closing, well, you need home insurance.
Got to insure it. Yeah.
Well, this is Matt Davis, insuregarner.com, 919-779-8277. I feel like if there's a listener out there
I believe we have one.
that has done all 4,
I believe we have
if that person exists, you got Miller Lending, Hometown Realty, Whitaker and Hamer to close things, and you're getting your insurance from Matt Davis at State Farm. That, speaking of one-off limited time shirts.
What do we got?
No, it's not even a bourbon. I'm thinking like a shirt and a hat.
You want them like kind of a NASCAR style.
like just patches on a jacket of like all the
I
sponsors.
feel like
because you hit
Basics
them all.
could potentially figure something
Oh,
out.
easily.
Yeah.
That's something that could easily be done. So big thanks to our corporate champs. And thank you, the listener, for making sure that you're out there supporting the corporate champions. If you're watching on YouTube, you saw the little music transition was Breaking Tea with all our Breaking Tea shirts. You can go to breakingtea.com/OG to get into the Ovies and Giglio collection. We've got the Dead Conference shirt. We got the flag. We got Positive Vibes Only. My personal favorite, the ice caps.
I thought the Cougars was your favorite.
Cougar is second. We got a new shirt design coming to Breaking Tea here soon. I'm very excited about this one. It's golf themed.
Oh,
Very excited about this.
nice.
And it might coincide with an OG hat vault too, since we were talking about the OG hat vault recently. But the reason why I bring up Breaking Tea, and again, go to breakingtea.com/OG to find out stuff. You know, things that happen locally aren't official until Breaking Tea drops the shirt, and they've got it. The Will Wade Avenue Breaking Tea shirt. It's pretty slick. So go to breakingtea.com/OG. Look up NC State, look up Will Wade, and you'll find this t-shirt. Anytime you buy a shirt with our little link, the little referral, we get a little piece of it. So by all means, go to breakingtea.com/OG and go get your Wade Avenue Raleigh shirt. It is official, Joe. Will Wade is coming to NC State, as first reported by Joe Giglio. Love that AP Wire story, by the way.
Yeah, AP is a real one. Just leave it at that.
And Will Wade.
He knows why.
Yeah, no, he knows why. And Will Wade will officially be introduced as NC State's next basketball coach on Tuesday afternoon with McNeese State going out. And I maintain, and I said this on Thursday when we were hitting those slushies at Jimmy's, that if you didn't believe NC State shit was dead before, just look at how this hiring cycle played out with no real drama. And to your point last week, these schools and these coaches and these agents kind of have an understanding where things are going to go before everybody else does.
But Texas, Joe.
But Texas, is the ink dry? Jeff Goodman doing Jeff Goodman things. Hey guys, he hasn't signed it yet, State fans. Well, he was he was never going to go to Texas because I guess they always had their eyes set on Sean Miller, who was hired by Texas.
Bird in the hand, Sean. I'm disappointed that you didn't learn your lesson the first time.
So it's interesting. Before we move back on to Will Wade here, I do find it interesting that Sean did not learn his lessons here, and that Texas. We even had an OG Sports phone call about Texas and basketball. Like, why would you? Why would you?
And Chris Mack had himself a nice little setup in Charleston. Now he's going back to Xavier. Like,
it's all coming full circle,
guys,
man. All coming full circles.
I mean, don't make me break out the Greek mythology. You fly that close to the sun, the wings melt. The wax on the wings melts. You crash to earth.
This is true.
Just be content with what you have after, being burnt before.
So the actual topic as it relates to Will Wade is, what are the expectations for Will Wade at NC State? The financial commitment's going to be there. But I'm going to throw this little fun fact out. You got 4 teams in the Sweet 16 with first-year coaches at their respective schools.
Okay.
Arkansas with John Calipari's in the Sweet 16.
Yes.
You have his replacement, Mark Pope at Kentucky, in the Sweet 16.
Nice.
Who else do we have here?
BYU, Mark Pope's replacement.
We got Kevin Young. Bet you couldn't name that guy off of Milk Garden.
Nope.
And then Michigan with Dusty May.
Michigan.
So 4 teams, 4 first-year coaches. They're in the Sweet 16. Is that Will Wade and NC State next year? You like to say it's a year-to-year proposition, right? But the whole point of moving in the direction of Will Wade and what you've seen at these four schools in particular is the right coach with the right financial commitment and getting things right in the portal can lead to immediate success.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the curious. That's the curious thought I have for Will Wade and expectations at NC State in year 1.
A couple things about Will Wade. So he's 42. But he's already been He's already been at 4 different stops. He's been a head coach for 11 years.
I can't handle 2 of the 3 triangle coaches being younger than me.
I know.
Oh.
So he's been a head coach for 11 years, 4 different stops. There's been an NCAA tournament played in 10 of those 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
He has made the NCAA tournament with 3 different teams 7 times in those 10 years.
Okay.
I think that's the consistency that certain people are looking for.
Yeah.
He's only been past the second round once, though. That was 2019. It should be noted in that year he was also suspended for those first 2 games of the NCAA tournament. Did win the SEC regular season in 2019. So there's a coaching element to this. Obviously, Chattanooga, VCU, McNeese, you do not have a stacked deck at those 3 schools.
No.
There are some advantages, obviously, to VCU. And the portal helped him at McNeese, but still, for the most part, you gotta coach.
Yeah.
Okay. To make it work. Here's the part that I find interesting about LSU that I think people are missing, and it should be crystallized that he hired Andy Slater. If you don't know who Andy Slater is as their general manager, okay? Andy Slater was a guy from the sneaker circuit, as Nada Edwards explained yesterday on the After Dark. This is more like Duke going to get Rachel Baker from Nike than Carolina getting an ex-former agent.
Yeah.
Like, this is someone who knows grassroots AAU basketball intimately. This is someone that, if you don't remember, the Oklahoma City Thunder now are the best team in the NBA, have the best record in the NBA. But once upon a time, they went into rebuild mode and acquired a bunch of first-round picks. I'm talking like 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So what the Thunder did was say, hey, we need to identify who the best 15, 16, 17-year-olds are on the planet right now. Who's the best person to do that? They hired Andy Slater. Okay? So what's important about the Andy Slater hire is at LSU. So his only time at a major program, there's a misconception of what Will was at LSU and what he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Now, it was before the portal. It was before NIL, obviously. He recruited 4 classes at LSU. 3 of them were in the top 10 of the country.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, I don't have the wherewithal to do the research for the number of times LSU, other than those 4 years, has been in the top 10. I can think of one with Shaquille O'Neal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Is there like a Pistol Pete callback in there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Suffice it to say.
Okay. Just ask.
Suffice it to say, he recruited at a level at LSU that LSU was not used to.
Right.
3, number 4, 31, number 4, number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he went to LSU, and you and I like to talk about Herb Sendek and Tony Bennett building a different mousetrap, trying to compete with Duke and Carolina by building a different mousetrap. That is not what Will Wade is going to come here and try to do.
No.
He is going to come here and try to beat Duke at their own game. He's going to come here and try to beat Carolina at their own game. And that is by getting his share of the top high school players in the country. And now, as we saw from McNeese, you'll see him supplement that, which if we're really going somewhere, that is what Duke's formula is. And I think people miss out on what Duke's true formula is right now.
Yes.
And again, it's only 1 year of data for Duke, but I think it's sufficient to say they've understood the assignment now.
I'm glad you brought up how Duke goes about business and what Will Wade coming to NC State is really about, and why I think a lot of people are having a hard time processing. Our guy JC texted me over the weekend, and in typical JC fashion, he's actuallying some of the coaching searches in the past. He's like, well, Dave Dorn was a top guy and they got their top guy. I was like, I don't remember it that way, but you tell me, sure, why not? Right. But even still, when you hire somebody like Dave Dorn, it was, to your point, trying to build a different mousetrap at a spot that cannot compete with the top.
Dave was also the best that they could afford on their budget.
There's that too.
Yeah.
There's that too. But as we've discussed over the last couple of weeks, the differences between football and basketball is the budget. You can do a lot more with your money in basketball than you can with football. And that's the part that I'm still processing myself, in that State has tried to find a different way to win in the past. Now with Will Wade, and now with the financial commitment theoretically that you are getting from these boosters and the money people, I am thinking to myself, well, wait a minute. And as much as there's a level playing field now with college athletics because of the portal and NIL and house and all this kind of stuff, if you want to go out and get yourself a roster the best money can buy, theoretically you could do that. And I don't, again, if it sounds like I'm having a hard time articulating this, is because in the 20 plus 30 years that I've experienced triangle basketball, State's never been that. It's been Duke. It's been Carolina to a certain extent.
Scott tried. Godfrey did try recruiting wise. Remember, it was trying to get Julius Randle. It was trying to get, this hot shot recruit.
But it was different because you could not make those strong ass offers. You still had shoe companies. Legally, you could not legally make a strong ass offer.
We can say it too, by the way.
You also.
Who called me on Friday?
Who called you on Friday?
Right before the show.
Oh, yes.
Orlando Early.
Yes, you showed me your phone. I'm like,
it pops
why the
up.
hell is Orlando Early calling you?
It pops up, and I'm like, I have to take this.
And I'm sure the conversation, without betraying anything, was, funny.
It's like, Joe, what?
We're cool with this now, right?
The same NC State that was on my ass.
But
fired me.
I get your point about Godfrey, but you and I also both know that Adidas understood. No, I'm sending my best players to Kansas.
Yeah,
I'm sending my best players to Louisville. It was not, I'm sending my best players to NC State. You see what I'm saying?
And I think that's the importance of the Andy hire here, too.
Yes, and that's why this is such a weird spot for NC State to be in, with a hire that, A, the coaching search went the way you wanted it to go. B, it's the kind of coach and infrastructure and era of college basketball that allows you to just do this sort of stuff. And C, you're seeing Carolina going through a really weird transitionary part right now. And NC State finally has an opportunity, if you're looking at how the triangle dynamics play out, to finally make inroads in this basketball thing. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not saying it's a surefire thing. I'm simply pointing out that for the first time in a long time, probably going all the way back to the late 80s and the 90s, NC State has an opportunity to be back in the mix on a regular year in, year out basis. All of this is to say a long-winded way of your dismissive ass when it comes to consistency. Oh, you guys just want consistency. Oh, okay, so you're going to make the tournament. Oh, okay, fine. You've been missing the point. The point isn't that when you say consistency, it's also a consistency of where you're at in the ACC. And
yeah,
I
which
think
they've never
done
since I've been down here. I mean, I know Herb went 5 years in a row, but some of the years it was like, oh, we're really good. Some of the years it was like, well, if we just beat ...
And it's something
we can sneak in.
Right. And that's not what State fans want.
I'll also say this, speaking of things that State fans want. I am not going to say that he is Jim Valvano, but there are people who have played for Jim Valvano who have noted to me already.
Mhm.
If you watch that game against Purdue, what was it, Saturday?
Yeah.
Afternoon, first game on Saturday. He went zone. He went man. He went to a press. He changed he got a technical. Like on the bingo card of coaching, Will Wade is there in terms of what can I do to try to save this? Now, he coached his ass off and his team still got waxed. I just want to note that.
It happens.
I want to note that.
It happens,
he
man.
did coach his ass off, particularly in the first half of that basketball game. When it was getting away from them. He tried everything. He threw everything against the wall. And that is going to endear him to State fans. Getting the technical. By the way, that was AJ Desai. And that was an ACC crew working that game. You can't tell me in the back of his mind he didn't know that.
Oh,
AJ Desai used to work his VCU games, by the way, back in the day before AJ got bumped up to.
Will Wade's letting him know I'm coming. Here we go.
He did.
Get used to me.
He
Get
did.
used to me. I guess the question is, how does Will Wade feel about ice cream?
I still don't know the answer to this. He is skinny, so I
It doesn't
I
matter.
just don't know.
It doesn't matter. I mean, look at James. Look at Caleb. They're super, super skinny. They somehow won.
They're crazy youths, though.
That's right. They
42
somehow,
is young, but it's not crazy youth age.
some people just win that genetic lottery, man. Like my guy Russ Henry, Russell Love Muscle. He eats like crap, and he still stays skinny, man.
So I'm gonna maybe suggest to Jared after they didn't win a game on the road last year. Let's try something else.
Actually, I have a better idea for Jared and Two Roosters. I mean, there's only one person to throw your money behind right now.
He is a star on the NIL circuit. That is for sure.
It's time for Amir Ora Khan, the grad student, or now I guess he's going to be a grad assistant. He's transferring to NC State.
He's transferring.
He is
I
transferring.
saw the graphic. I was excited by the graphic. You know, I love a one word graphic that they spit out. I love
transferred, committed. Go to commit yourself to Two Roosters. Commit yourself every month with their new flavors. Go to tworoosters.com, and who knows, you might see an Aura flavor before you get an OG flavor.
Yeah,
It's fine. I get it.
it's fine.
It's cool. It's cool. We'll get our flavor one day, Jared.
Someday.
But I understand that you want to put your money behind the Aura. Totally get it. So go to tworoosters.com and find out more. And of course, head on over to Two Roosters. Speaking of Aura, of Amir, the manager who's going to be a grad assistant over at NC State. Let's go back to the sports phone, shall we?
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
This came to us from a 919.
Hello, OG. Saturday morning, 9:21 a.m. Just curious, the manager for McNeese State, Amir Khan, will he enter the transfer portal and follow Will Wade to NC State? That would be very interesting. Just curious. Have a good day, guys.
And he is that's been made official, which gets to some of the interesting responses to this from our guy James. It's been made official. I saw the graphic, Joe. I think it's hilarious. From James, am I missing something about this Amir Ora guy? I feel like I'm missing something. And then, of course, I could take it a step further and present to you Hate Nass Hayes, the king of haters.
Perm.
Local media. I always love when a Hayes tweet starts with local media.
You
As
know where
if-
it's going next.
I know where it's going next. Please cover this man like you should any other grad assistant, which is to say, not at all. Look at Hayes. Hate Nass Hayes. Once again, one of my all-time favorite things about Hayes is that when he does things with local media, buddy, look around. Look around. What's left? Basically treating local media as though it's one big monolith right now in the triangle. It's not. The fact that we exist shows you it ain't really there anymore, okay? Also, Hayes, you are or were local media. I always loved that too. Back in his Sports Channel 8 days, as if he wasn't credentialed to shit. Local media. Buddy, you are local media.
I was all ready to post the Patino video, and then Patino let me down.
Sorry, man.
It hurt a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you, because you know how many years in a row have I picked Calipari in Kentucky to win it all, and he just puts it in my ear.
I know it happens.
He did it again.
Here's what I'll say about Mr. Ora. I think there's two things going on here. One, I think a lot of us are just tired. Let's think about this, especially people like James, people like Hayes, people like me, some of like our listener, like, what's the deal, right? We're coming up on, in the last 20 years, how many different social media platforms do you think we've all chased at this point? I mean, we're double digits social media platforms. I mean, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, Google. What was it? What was the Google Circle one called? Google Buzz, I think it was called. Oh, geez, Google Plus. That was the name of it. Remember Google Plus, right? And we have Twitter, and then we're chasing Instagram. Now we got Blue Sky. We got there's like a bazillion Tumblr. I mean, there's different. We're old.
Yes.
The point is, in 20 years internet time, might as well be 200 years in internet in like real time, like dog years.
Dog years. Got it.
So we're all tired, and we're tired at our age chasing the next online phenomenon that'll be like the thing for the next couple of weeks or whatever it is, right? And I think the issue that some people have with this is that what Mr. Ora is doing isn't exactly like a new thing. Like, I've seen this before. Where have I seen this before? Walking out with the big boom box and all this other kind of, oh yeah, I saw this from NC State when they would come out and just kind of like do the boom box thing and everything else. So much so that Amir Khan linked up with DJ Burns and gave him credit.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What's up, bro? How are you, man?
I'm doing great, man.
Hey, man, y'all boys turned this year. I just wanted to ask you, bro, what is Ora, bro? How'd you get so much of it? And can you teach me a little bit about it, man?
I saw y'all's walkouts last year, you know. That's how I learned about it, you know. Y'all started doing it first, so I kind of learned from that. I got to ask you a question, man. Have you learned Korean yet?
Not yet, bro. I'm learning some of the words, but it's kind of hard to catch on, bro.
Nah,
it's real complicated. Hey, it's your turn to go on a big run now, bro. Lead them boys. Keep them turned. Keep that boombox pumping and turn them up, man.
Yes, sir. Hey, I just walk out with a boombox, man. They the ones on the court doing it. Like, you was on the court doing it last year, you know what I'm saying? You was one putting in the real work, man. I just trying to get the players hype.
He's just trying to get the players hype. What a job.
Game recognizes game, by the way.
Yes.
That wing company on the boombox. He also has a deal with Tops, which is really Fanatics now. But hey, man,
dude, I read a story.
Salute. You sell 2 ads in a 2-game span. That's hitting the window, man.
Apparently, he's had like 100 DMs of people trying to get some sort of NIL deal
on the boombox,
and everything else.
Think about it. It's like a golfer, right?
Yeah,
I'm on TV.
Yeah, might as
for,
well.
for 2 hours.
Right.
I can buy a 30-second ad, or I'd rather be on the boombox.
If you're trying to wonder what's the big deal, that means you're officially over the bridge. You're no longer in that part of the internet world anymore. You've graduated. You're in the retirement home. You finally hit that point where you go, I don't get it. That means you've hit that ripe old age of kids these days, or I've seen this before. What do you mean? I heard Led Zeppelin do this back in the 60s, the 70s. What's the big deal? They're just right. That's all this is. And that's fine. I'm not saying this in any sort of negative way. I'm just saying, welcome. You've officially hit a point in your life that you're now too old, that you see what the youths are doing and going, I don't get it. The world ain't for you anymore, y'all. It ain't for you. And if the kids are into it and social media eats it up, hey, man, ultimately, that's all that matters. We're going to take a hockey break here in just a bit.
Let's take a break. Let's take a hockey break. Brought to you by Happy and Hale.
It's always brought to you by Happy and Hale. Hey, look, with the NCAA tournament getting to a point where we're looking at the end, it also means we're looking at the end of the regular season for hockey and the playoffs right around the corner. And, of course, we'll be there. More After Dark's on the way, Joe.
Let's go.
I'm in. Let's freaking go. In the meantime, make sure you're in with Happy and Hale. Download the app. Use our promo code OG355 for a one-time 25%. Take a screen grab of that, though. Because what are we doing, Joe, with the screen grabs?
Oh, we got cards, man.
And these cards, you'd think Caleb Love is Carolina for life.
No, sir.
This is a different kind of for life with this Happy and Hale card. You get 20% off for life
Perfect.
with the Happy and Hail card. It's good stuff.
Perfect. Oh, where are we on our count, by the way, on YouTube followers?
We are approaching 9,000. So once we hit 9,000, which we should do by the end of the NCAA tournament, we can start doing our countdown to 9,999.
Okay.
To give out
Just
yet
making
another
sure.
one of these cards. That's what it's all about. Big thanks to our friends at O2 Fitness. As you know, they are more than just a gym.
So much more than a gym.
So with O2, you go to O2fitnessclubs.com, find out their locations. You ain't going to a gym unless it's close by. They got a bunch of great locations, great equipment, great staff. But it goes beyond that, as we know, for new physiotherapy, Loop Nutrition, and of course, Thrive. They've just partnered with Thrive in the last month. LiveThrive.co. You can find out about oral testosterone treatments, weight loss as well. And all you got to do is go to the website, LiveThrive.co, and you're going to get a lot more from them. Okay. That's the most important part. And it's all online. Ask a couple questions. Telehealth is super, super easy, and you'll be on the way to getting your stuff together. Big thanks to Roback as well. We're sitting here talking about working out. Well, you need something to work out in, right? You need comfortable shorts, shirts that are comfortable, that easily dry. Those are the types of things that our friends at Roback have. Head on over to roback.com. Use that promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. The polos have been fantastic. I finally saw I got an email push for the Azalea collection.
I was just about to tell you, I know you probably don't want the Azalea polo, and this, you can't buy our thing anymore.
Yeah.
But check out this beauty.
As you pull it up on the YouTube.
Yeah, it's...
Yeah, I got the email for some of the new stuff that's dropping. I got to order some pants from them. Oh, geez.
Yeah, it's basically ours, but with the Azalea.
With the Azalea on it, with the pink string, though.
Yeah,
that's also good too.
I like that.
That's actually that's pretty hot, actually.
Yes,
that's pretty good, man.
Yes.
So head on over to Roback. Use that promo code OG20 to save 20% off your order. Look, we talked about working out. You know what helps after a workout? A Celsius. Go to Breeze Through after your workout, because right now they got amazing deals on Celsius. Buy one, get one. I have a guy, Greg. I have a guy, Greg, a hockey dad. Greg has a routine.
Oh, you're right. Speaking of things the youths are into that I'm not.
He crushes the Celsius before a workout. And
I just prefer to mainline the coffee.
Yeah, he gets the people going with the 200 milligrams of caffeine and all those natural ingredients. So you can get a buy one, get one along. I don't recommend a Zyn while you're working out. Celsius, yes.
Okay.
Zyn, maybe that's a treat later in the evening, right? Anyway, go to Breeze Through, breezethrough.com. I don't know. I don't do Zyns. You know, I've never done chewing tobacco. It is what it is, right? But I know a lot of y'all out there are about that Zyn life. Probably rocking a puffy Patagonia vest as well. Looking at your stocks nonstop. And you probably have an 18-game parlay while you're at it. So rock a Zyn, drink a Celsius, go to Breeze Through, breezethrough.com.
And again, I don't break news on the OG, but congrats to Adam. Like we're missing out here if we don't come up with a bit for this.
For what?
The Canes. You be the good cop, I'll be the bad cop.
Oh, well, I'm so out of the loop right now, where I'm so out of practice when it comes to just doing normal shows that I totally forgot. Like, I played the wrong transition.
Oh, we can talk about the Canes.
Let's actually get into the lightning round and talk about the Canes, shall we? Lightning Round is brought to you by Sam Jones. Check them out in downtown Raleigh. I'll be having lunch at Sam Jones tomorrow. Drop on by, say hello. I'm meeting up with some old hockey dads for lunch. All right, so you want to be good cop, bad cop for the Canes. I'll be the good cop. I mean,
we got a month, so this is the thing. You got to come up with a graphic for it now.
Well, we already have our 2 Joes, 1 cup. Since destination is over, unless we're talking about Caleb's indoor percussion at Enloe. Needed to get to Dayton for the WGI. Givebutter.com/indoor, by the way, if you want to donate for their chance to go to Dayton. Now, I don't see what the issue is right now. I mean, this was predictable. We talked about this with Luke DeCock of the News and Observer after the Mikko Rantanen deal. After it didn't work out and they traded him to Dallas, Luke said, and I agreed, watch them win 6 of their next 7, 8 of their next 9, or how about 9-1 in their last 10, right? You've got the loss in LA, which is a classic burn the tape. Guys were sick. Burn the freaking tape.
Okay.
Jankowski
that was the one I wanted to.
We'll get to that.
If I'm the bad cop, the 6-0 performance in LA, the J game in LA, what was going on the night before, boys?
They're sick. They were sick.
Sure.
Jankowski has 6 goals in 7 games. This from Kane's stats brand on Blue Sky. Logan Stankoven quietly with 4 points in 7 games, while Mikko Rantanen loudly has 4 points in 7 games since the deadline. The Canes doing their thing. Oh, we're going to do it with these guys, not the superstars, these guys. Very Rod Brind'Amour, come to work, do your job. Here they are, 9-1 in their last 10. But you want to focus on LA?
Oh, I got 2 bad cop moments for you.
You want to focus on like a classic F it. We didn't have it today. Burn the tape.
I got 2 bad cops.
What's the next? What do you got?
Coochie, what are we doing in LA, man?
Well,
6-0 before there's a pulse. 7-2, fine. Flush the tape.
Yeah.
But now my true, let's treat the Canes like they were in Toronto moment.
Okay.
Jankowski. Hey, that's awesome that you're putting up all these great numbers in the regular season. Can you save just a few?
Yeah.
For the playoffs?
Yeah.
Because I guarantee you what's going to happen in the first round is he's not going to score. They'll advance and then they'll get eliminated in the next round. You'll be like, well, we're going to look back and be like, wait a second.
Wait a minute.
Somebody didn't produce. But no, I'm playing with you. You were like, what's wrong? They won 9 out of 10. And I'm like, yeah. The one was kind of sticky, Joe.
Yeah, but I mean, look, man. I don't know. Maybe it's just my brain is now wired to understand that on any given hockey day, you're gonna have a night or an afternoon that you just suck.
Well, you know my theory. You're gonna lose big.
Lose big, and that's exactly lose big, and hopefully nobody gets hurt. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Hope nobody gets hurt.
Yep.
So Seth Jarvis, he was in action yesterday. He's fine. All right, we're good. So don't worry about it. Now, look, we could be a little facetious here. I think in the short term, yes. I think everybody is hype.
Eric Hollis still in the Devils, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
you're good.
Fait accompli. They're going to play the Devils in the first round.
Yes.
Okay.
So
they'll be the Devils.
Okay. then from there,
boy. Still, that 4th spot's still up. I do think the Capitals take care of business. I think they can beat the Capitals. You know, I don't know this magic carpet ride that Ovies on. You know, I mean, he's
when does it
turning
end?
back the time. Speaking of, but they've beaten the Capitals in the playoffs before because they're pretty much a one-man team. Now I know they've obviously turned things around this year, but
oh, by the way, are we still on track for you to have to write AP for Ovechkin passing Gretzky or tying Gretzky?
We are. It's one of the games I have.
Okay.
And if I have to write that story, I would have to pre-write it, obviously.
Clearly.
Yeah.
So does Vegas know that you're writing that?
Yeah, they should.
Vegas knows.
So wait a second.
Is Giglio? What is it?
Put the thumb on the scale.
When Giglio has to write for the AP that night, something weird's going to happen, right? Requiring him to do actual work that evening.
Actual work
that evening. Just double checking on that one. Now, look. I understand. Back to my point about there's the short term and the long term. I think in the immediate moment, given how specifically Canes fans were getting banged on by national media about Mikko Rantanen and losing
he doesn't want to be there.
He doesn't want to be there.
Like Gensel.
XYZ. You have every right to enjoy every game that's happened since that trade deadline deal. And all in the ways that the Carolina Hurricanes had just been bullied by national media types.
Man, look at Tom Wilson having a year. My gosh. Holy smokes.
And given the way that Mikko Rantanen and his agent fumbled the messaging before and after, and given where he is in Dallas and how he's been producing, there's a little bit of a, in the grand scheme of things, maybe we dodged a bullet here when it comes to Mikko Rantanen. I think that remains to be seen.
Right.
All right. Let's not get caught up in the aftermath of the trade and him kind of processing and getting used to and all that kind of stuff. Right. So we'll see how that plays out in the course of the next 8 years. But in immediacy, yeah, man, absolutely take a victory lap.
Oh, it's galvanized them for sure.
It's galvanized the room. It's galvanized the fan base. But of course, my curiosity once we get to the postseason is how are we going to view this postseason when we go into it? Last year, the stakes were very clear. This is your window. These are your guys. You made this move for Gensel. See how your Eastern Conference Finals. Of course, that does not happen. They short circuit, can't score goals. Freddie Anderson, we don't have to relitigate. I've always kind of viewed this year as a little bit of a house money year. I mean, we've talked about this through the course of the regular season with the salary cap and the money that you have.
A consistency year, even making the playoffs. We all said it in the summer. They'll probably make the playoffs, but not be in the same type of title contending position.
It's a house money kind of year. Of course, with hockey and how funny things get, you don't know how far they can go. But if, and that's the question. Does this galvanizing moment that produced a very predictable run of wins for the Carolina Hurricanes carry over into the playoffs? Or are they going to revert back to what we've seen out of the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs, where you're going to have some potentially shaky goaltending, the scoring dries up, to your point, Jankowski all of a sudden Jankowski just starts all of a sudden not scoring, those kind of things, right? I don't know. But it does create one of the more interesting, in a different way, Carolina Hurricanes postseason setups. Like I said, we have been discussing the Canes in the context of this is your window, this is your chance. Can you go do it? And if you don't, there's going to be massive disappointment, like we discussed last season.
Yeah, different.
This is more classic Canes, the kind of Canes we're used to seeing.
Feels like 19.
Right? Or 09.
Might even get to see the Capitals.
Maybe. So I find that all very, very interesting. And given the history of the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs, you probably like this more so than the other. You like being the underdog. You like having people think you can't do it. You like having a galvanized group. That actually might pay off in a decent postseason run. I can't wait.
We've got a lot to get to. It's a lightning round.
All right. So over the weekend, we had a minor league baseball team go viral for one of their alternate uniform hat choices. This is from the Bay Sox official, Oyster Catchers. So congratulations, Joe. The fact that you're laughing and you're seeing the oyster shell with a baseball.
Know the name was Oyster Catcher.
Yeah. So it's a if you're watching on YouTube, you can see it. But this is also not a visual medium for podcasts. So it's a baseball glove, but in the baseball glove, you have an oyster shell and a pearl that has a little bit of a baseball seam to it to make it look like a baseball instead of a pearl in the oyster.
Is this a La Vitra ad?
The fact that Joe is laughing, and I also laughed when I saw this image, is that, hey, congratulations, Joe. You and I are one of the few men that understand. We can find it. Congratulations to us, right?
I'm laughing because the Jim Rome re-rack of the tire. Real subtle.
Throwing a football through the tire.
The tire. What's next? You're going to do an ad with an open face roast beef sandwich.
That was always my favorite. It's like, what, it's be a guy opening up the fridge to just prepare his open face roast beef sandwich? Yeah.
God, Rome had some bangers, man.
He did. So yeah, man. For lack of a better term, this design, it looks like a vagina. I really don't know how else to put it. The Bay Sox, they understood this after the fact. They put on Instagram, if you're going to go viral, let's make it count. Some of you saw an oyster. Others saw something unexpected in our alternate identity Oyster Catchers patch. We won't unsee it either. I have questions, but I'll continue. We see an opportunity to turn laughs into a meaningful, positive impact in our community. In celebration of Women's History Month, 10% of all Oyster Catchers merchandise sales will support Survivor. It's a nonprofit dedicated to cervical cancer education and advocacy. founded by a group in Upper Marlboro, Maryland, Tamika Felder. It empowers and educates individuals affected by cervical cancer. Social media brought the jokes. Now let's use this power for good. Thanks for your support, Bay Sox family. Check out the link in the bio. Again, great cause. Awesome cause.
Turn that thing around on
Way to lean into it, man.
Yep. Love it.
Way to lean into it. I absolutely love that. I'll probably buy some merch.
I honestly didn't know their name was the Oyster Catchers. That's what I was originally laughing at. I've seen the logo, but I didn't know it was for the Oyster Catchers.
But here's what I want to know. Others saw something unexpected in our alternate identity. I want to be in on the meeting for this. Come on now. You're telling me
it was all guys, or
if it's all guys, I have questions about the guys. Like I said, you and I both recognize it. All right? It ain't that hard. You can find it. Trust me. You can find it. But you're telling me in all the mock-ups, nobody in the meeting went, hey, guys, that reminds you of anything? And then a lot of other people, I don't get it. I don't see it. I mean, again, I would question. I would have questions for those guys. How old are you? Number one. Number two, what have you been doing with your life? Okay. And I get it. I've read all sorts of studies that the younger generations are not getting down as often as the previous generations. I'm sure you've read those studies too. They're not drinking as much. They're not partying as much. They're not going out as much. They're not getting down as much. So if you got a younger group that's coming up with these designs, they might not know. I get that. But how do you go through multiple revisions and not a single person go, hey, that really looks like something. Anyway, I just thought that was funny.
Apparently they're not fans of Eminem. And you can't expect them not to know what women's clitoris is.
Reminds me of when the Star Wars prequels were coming out, Phantom Menace, and Triumph the Insult Comic Dog stood in a line and was just ripping people. And he saw a pregnant Star Wars fan. And he's like, oh, that poor child. It'll be the first and the last time he ever sees a vagina. We've had a show today, folks. We have absolutely live, laugh, love. Where's my bridal font?
That's a full day.
It's a full day.
There are many topics for lightning round today on OG.
There are many topics today.
From the oyster catchers to a man who would absolutely recognize that design. Tiger Woods tweeted this out. Love is in the air and life is better with you by my side. We look forward to our journey together through life together. At this time, we would appreciate privacy for all those in our hearts. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, this is context free. I saw this on social media and it's Tiger Woods with clearly his new girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was, well, Tiger has a type.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly has a type. Salute. I did not realize that was Vanessa Trump. That would be Junior's ex.
Okay.
They got divorced,
So
I believe, in 2018.
Not one of Donald's daughters, but one of his son's ex-wives.
Oh, if it was a daughter, it would have broke the internet.
Right.
So I did not. I went to Wikipedia because I don't know her background.
Got me.
She dated Leonardo.
I thought Trump was married to a state grad. One of the Trumps has got a state connection.
I don't know, man. I don't keep up with the married life. Vanessa.
Well, you said ex. Maybe it's the current.
So apparently Vanessa was linked to American actor. I'm reading from Wikipedia. Leonardo DiCaprio in 1998. So we knew that had a shelf life.
Okay.
From 1998 to 2001, she dated a Saudi prince.
Oh.
And then in 2005, she married Junior. It was held shockingly at Mar-a-Lago. And they ended up getting divorced in March of 2018, an uncontested divorce in New York. And then began a relationship with Tiger Woods in 2024. And it became public in 2025. And of course, now he wants your privacy. I love that so much. Hey, here we are. Love is in the air. Please respect our privacy because Tiger understands that he gets privacy in his life. Best of luck, guys. Best of luck. Big thanks to Home Field. Check them out online, homefieldapparel.com. Use that promo code OG24. They got so much hot material out right now from the Legends of March, Third Month Mania, the Home Field Hoops Collective, all that kind of stuff. They got great, amazing stuff. You can get these boxes that have a hoodie, heavyweight t-shirts, all for one packaged price. Or if you're just looking for the individual thing, they've got the shooting shirts, like the practice warm-up jerseys from back in the day. All that stuff is on homefieldapparel.com. Use that promo code OG24 to save 15% off your order.
There it is. Eric's wife, Lara, went to state.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Pack Pro?
There you go.
Pack Pro. Speaking of the pack, you buy all sorts of stuff on Home Field Apparel. Now that everybody's feeling the vibes again for basketball, may I suggest you go and check out all their basketball stuff, including the cool hats over at homefieldapparel.com. Big thanks to the Butcher's Market. Check them out online at thebutchersmarkets.com. You can buy a bazillion hot dogs for now and all the tailgating. Did you buy more hot dogs?
Not yet, because my wife reminded me that I still have some in the freezer outside.
Oh, you found more hot dogs?
But only like 10. Only like 10.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Didn't realize you found more hot dogs.
It wasn't the stack.
I see.
The stacks on stacks.
I see. And of course, big thanks to Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Check them out online at bugsbite.com. You can bundle and save with Mosquito Authority and Pest Authority. Right now, if you haven't done it yet, if you have not reached out to them, do it now because we're getting ready for mosquito season as April approaches. So right now, you go to bugsbite.com. You get $29 first mosquito control service. And there are mosquitoes, they start to lay the eggs right now. All it takes is about, as our guy Hayes points out, a bottle cap's worth of water. And the mosquitoes can start when it comes to that kind of stuff. So with all the rain in the spring, you might have some buckets that have been out. Maybe you've got some standing water. Doesn't take much to get things going. So to help you prepare, you got to eliminate that standing water. You keep your grass trimmed. You refresh your water features. And of course, with new water. And of course, you call Mosquito Authority. That's the key. So call them up. Hit up the website, bugsbite.com.
I did see Kelly on Friday, and I can't remember if we nailed this down. We're okay for an OG tailgate on 4/13. It's a Sunday. It's 5:00 game.
It's my mom's birthday.
Okay. I thought there was a hiccup there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be my mom's birthday.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have to do my mom's birthday on the 13th. We can always do something on Saturday.
I mean, we can tailgate for the playoffs. It's one of those 5:00 games. It just felt like
it feels right. I'll talk to my mom.
Okay.
We'll work something out.
She can come out. I'll make her a hot dog.
She
might want something a little bit nicer than that.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's the case. Big thanks to our friends over at 1-800-PLUMBER and AIR. 1-800-PLUMBER.com. Call them directly at 1-800-PLUMBER. With plumbing and air, it's tricky. It could be really, really expensive. The last thing you want is surprises. You also want to make sure that your HVAC is running at tip-top shape as we're transitioning from the colder months to the warmer months. That air conditioner has not been fired up in a long time. When you do fire it up, is it working at tip-top shape? Well, contact our friends at 1-800-PLUMBER. Get that thing checked out.
It's funny you say the HVAC portion of that programming because I'm still caught up on the plumbing.
Okay.
I just can't tell you how many times I've had a plumbing issue and it's never between 8 and 5. Like, I just don't think you understand how hard it is to get someone to get out to your house. They make it easy.
So 1-800-PLUMBER.com or call them directly at 1-800-PLUMBER. We appreciate them for being a corporate champion. All right, let's get out of here with some Hey Joe. Let's go back to the OG Sports Phone, shall we?
919-444-2211. Call the OG Sports Phone and curse or don't.
Of course, the OG Sports Phone is brought to you by Nature's Relief. Check them out online at naturesreliefhempstore.com, RELEAF, hempstore.com. What are you laughing at?
Well, just as I recognize Amir Khan's game of getting the wings. I mean, it's one of our finest moments was getting Nature's Relief to sponsor the Sports Phone.
Yes.
We could work for another 10 years. I may not be able to top that.
All right. 910.
Joe's, as a bona fide hating-ass Tar Heel fan, I had a moment this weekend after we lost where I was able to kind of reflect. I was thinking about the triangle as a whole. And it just brought me to the point yesterday where I was able to say, go Duke, former point guard Jeremy Roach. And then, you know, Duke won and all these SEC teams are winning, and started to really think about how I couldn't stomach how I'm going to just keep hearing about their dominance. And it brought me to the point where I know next weekend I am going to be able to say, just for our conference's sake, I'm going to be able to say, go ACC, legend, Caleb Love, Tar Heel for life.
Oh,
I like that.
I love our listeners.
I like that.
I love that people get it. I love that people are in on the joke with the Tar Heel for life. This is from another UNC fan, but I don't know if there's the fun and frivolity of rooting for Caleb Love right now.
Hey, Bubba. It's me again. It's been a while. I hadn't called in since the debacle at Wake Forest. We were on the brink there. Wasn't great. And you recovered? Or the team seemed to. But then we came out today versus Ole Miss, and we did the same thing that we've done all year. We went down 20, 25 in the first half, and, you know, never really recovered. A lot of people would chalk that up to great coaching at halftime. I would differ from that. I would say that the players just give a shit about their own brand here now in the transient nature of college basketball and NIL. They don't want to embarrass themselves, and so they come back despite Hubert's non-screening, non-rebounding, non-play calling, non-nothing. So what I would ask you is, what's worse, fan apathy or brand equity apathy? I would assume it's the latter, but I'm not sure that you would know, because once again, you've only hired one revenue sport coach since 2012. Maybe it's time that you sit Hubert down, ask him some hard questions, and if you don't like the answers, figure out a different direction, because this shouldn't be a program that's dictated by fat former players on podcasts. And I am looking at you, Theo and Ray. We know you love Hubert. We don't care anymore. Have a safe night, everybody.
Was the Nature's Relief kicking in for that one? Just very calm. Anyway, I'll just go back to what we discussed on Friday after Carolina got knocked out. I think, to your point, how do you want to see the last 4 years? Do you want to see a championship game in the NCAA where they knock out Mike Krzyzewski in the Final Four and a number 1 seed? Yeah, it didn't go the way they wanted it to, but it happens. But still, you had a great regular season. You were number 1 seed. Or you're going to look at the debacle of not just making the NCAA tournament, but also saying we're not even going to participate in the NIT and people getting mad about that.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, the way that this year played out, which it took some things really going their way. And in some cases, people would argue Bubba Cunningham being the chair of the NCAA selection committee for you to be in the NCAA tournament in the first place and then not getting out of the first weekend, right? So it's all on how you want to view these things. I do feel, though, that if you really wanted to truly start assessing Hubert Davis and his tenure at North Carolina, unfortunately, for those who want him out, you're going to have to wait this year with a general manager, with a dragging to, and it's not just a Hubert thing. I think it's a collective North Carolina program thing, that the light bulb has finally gone on. And to the players that caller references, like Theo, they also get it now, understanding that just because you wear the shorts and just because Michael Jordan went there doesn't mean you can go get these guys. It needs money. So let's see how this offseason goes. Let's see how the roster construction goes. And let's see how next season goes. before you truly start to say, oh, hey, where's this going with Hubert Davis? Although, that being said, the pressure only increases for Hubert Davis, not just because of what's going on at Duke with John Scheyer, but as we talked about at the beginning of the podcast with Will Wade at NC State being very motivated to play the current game of college basketball in a way that we have not seen out of NC State. So there's just a lot of pressure on Hubert Davis going forward. I'll be curious to see how it all plays out. All right.
I'm not sure, and all of that's entirely fair to Hubert Davis either. Like, they did make the tournament this year. However, they got there, right?
Yeah, it is, and it isn't.
So here's the list of teams in the ACC who've made the tournament 3 of the last 4 years.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
The whole list.
Yeah.
Duke.
Right.
It's the whole list.
Right.
No, you could say that's an indictment of the rest of the conference. That's fair.
That would be my first reaction,
That's
including Carolina, by the way, who's not supposed to be. It shouldn't just be Duke, Carolina,
I know.
Virginia. What the hell are you doing?
Thank you.
Right? All that stuff.
Louisville,
Syracuse. What have you been doing? Right.
You know, pick any of these other schools. Clemson, who's been, some people told me you'd rather be. Okay. So
State.
Yeah. Well, State's made it twice.
Yeah.
Carolina's made it 3 times. So I'm just saying, like, in terms of what they have actually done, it's actually more than people are willing to give him credit for. I get it. There's some marks against him. But in terms of actual accomplishments, it's more than everyone but Duke.
Yeah.
And I get it. That's who your peer is.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
just want to make that note.
All right. One more.
Hey, this one's for Joe Giglio and Joe Ovies. This is Reed from Raleigh. I just wanted to check in with you guys because the way everything's going. OG members need to check in once in a while and just tell them what you're doing. But like a couple of weeks ago, I was still in a dream. So all I did was just bring out my Breaking Tea t-shirts, including one for March the 10th, which was 5 days, 5 scoops. That was a real good one. And after a couple of days, I think on the 11th or 12th of March, I went with the legend of DJ Burns. This is a Breaking Tea special. It's the greatest one I ever got. But yeah, I decided to go with another one, which was It Feels Like 24, because I think with 25 and I don't know about 26, this one is going to be very valuable. And I'll tell you one thing. I like home field, not Homer Field. There's a Simpson reference. Sorry, guys, I'm showing my age. But I got my national 1974 champs for NC State. That's a home field. It didn't come in a box. It wasn't part of a drop. But, hey, I still have it. So I'm trying to give some good props to the corporate champions, the corporate partners. But last but not least, I've got my Breaking Tea, and it's got Mo Diarra. And I'll tell you, Mo is the man, and Mo is great, and I hope he's doing well. But this one, I wish he was around for this past season. But hey, it is what it is. But I'll tell you, a 6-year contract. I'm telling you, it's going to be tough. But just so you know, I'm going to pay homage to Dayton and where the Tar Heels went, because Dayton is the right place to be. If you know, you know. Thanks, guys. You're doing a great job. Love you, mean it, and don't worry. Check is in the mail.
I think that was Reed from yesterday. Was like, please check the OG sports phone.
Yeah.
And I had to explain to him, I'm like, no, so that goes to Ovius's personal Gmail account. I do not have access to the sports phone. We'll have to play it tomorrow.
So about that, we'll close on this. First and foremost, thank you to Reed, for leaving that message. And
But he was like calling in real time, and it was like spamming the text, like,
and buying,
check the thing,
and buying all the Breaking T-shirts, man. We appreciate that.
That's awesome.
And we got some more Breaking T stuff that just came out. Of course, go to breakingtea.com/OG. And it's official. I double checked. The Year of the Hangover shirt is back up.
Good.
Which means the people the people who have ordered shirts already, guess what? They'll arrive sooner because you were on the ball.
See, there's nothing wrong with rewarding them.
But you procrastinators out there, fine, it's back up. So you better buy some more freaking shirts. All right? Buy some shirts.
Let me find the person who emailed me to let him know.
So, and your text threads as well. Like, where'd the shirts go? Send it to him. Buy the freaking shirts now that I've reopened it. All right? Now, all that being said, about the sports phone, I'm gonna take you behind the scenes here when it comes to the sports phone.
The store is back open.
Here's the thing
Let
about
me
the sports
know
phone.
if you have any issues.
Okay. Now, yes, the sports phone information goes to my Gmail account because I'm an idiot and I was doing everything on the fly and everything's just automatically signed in for my.
I was gonna say this is YouTube.
It's whatever.
Yeah.
But when Duke wins, nobody calls the sports phone.
Oh, because it would require Duke fans.
Not that Duke fans don't exist. It's just that they don't call the sports phone.
Right.
It's just that simple.
Oh, they were mad yesterday because I guess I don't know that the thing becomes public.
It does become public.
Because I called my shot.
You scheduled it, yeah.
I called my shot.
Hey, dude, when we were in Charlotte, and remember I'd done the graphic, no Cooper flag, no problem for the Carolina game. I had to start work because I had already put it up with about 10 minutes to go.
Okay.
So yes.
So what is that? You're a YouTube subscriber. It'll pop in.
Yeah, it'll tell you.
It says, okay, this
it's
is
like, hey, they're going to go
for...
live and they see what you titled it.
Okay.
So typically what I do for things like that is I just say, after dark, Duke looking for the right to get to the Sweet 16.
Okay.
And just
then
leave it
you
there.
Would change it once we're.
And then I would change
the result.
I would change it right before we go live.
All right. Well, Duke fans, I can.
But you called your shot.
I can call a shot again if you really want me to.
I mean, I even worked on the graphic when I saw it was there. I just said, fine.
Let's go.
It was there. Let's go.
Perfect.
Let's put it up there, right? But nobody calls the sports phone when Duke wins. If Duke had lost,
well, then there would be,
the sports phone would have been popping. And if they did lose, I would have told our friends, neighbor Rick, hey guys, the studio's a couple blocks down. I'm just going to go over to the studio real quick. But you didn't need me yesterday.
It was fine. I mean, it was, James was good.
James
was very good.
James brought the heat, man.
Yeah. James got basketball takes.
He does have basketball takes. I really enjoyed the, it's like, yeah, man, I didn't like Tyrese Proctor's play in the big moments the last 2 years.
No, he was dead right.
Now you look at him here. So that's going to wrap it up for today's show. We will see you tomorrow.